Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unleashing Potentials podcast. So joining me today is Ernie. Ernie, welcome.
Thank you, Bernadette. I'm happy to be here.
So happy to have you. How do you pronounce your full name? I know you go by Ernie.
My full name is pronounced as Ernelita the Kumos.
Oh, that's so cool. That's a very pretty name. And where in the world are you, Ernie?
I am currently residing in Lodi, California, Northern California.
Oh, nice. Is it nice there?
It's a little gloomy right now, but I think we're going to have heat waves pretty soon.
Yeah, it's been very, very hot here. Yeah. Yeah, so happy to have you. So Ernie, to start, can you tell us more about you and what you do?
I thrive in healthcare for about 10 years and still counting. But at the same time, I had this realization that I wanted to become an international motivational teacher. And with that, I am a part of the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team program, currently doing training, speaking, workshops, and facilitating. And at the same time, focusing more on our radio show, The Leader's Edge, through the Voice America Business Channel.
Oh, that's really cool. What is it like being a podcast host? Is that what you would call it?
Radio talk show host. Well, that's interesting because obviously you're a podcast host.
Yeah.
What it is like is there's never a dull moment, that's for sure, right? We learn as we go. And the main important thing is if our guests or if we can provide value to others. So that's the main goal of it. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about my co-host. It's more on what value can we add to others? What impact can we deliver to them? And that's the main focus. That to me is what a podcast or radio talk show host looks like.
Yeah, that's really cool. Can you tell me more about the Maxwell Leadership Team?
It would be my great pleasure. It is an organization founded by Dr. John C. Maxwell himself, where it's basically his legacy, where he would train people to continue leading others. And his vision is to add value to people so that those people can go out there and add value to others as well. So it's more on speaking, facilitating, coaching, and training about leadership and personal growth.
Yeah, that's really cool. His name sounds familiar because I know there's an author with the Maxwell name. He's a Christian author. Is that who you're talking about or someone else?
Yes, that's exactly him, Mr. or Dr. John C. Maxwell. We call him Papa John in our organization. He started in ministry and then he became the leadership guru, and he has written hundreds of books. The newest one is I hope I don't butcher it, the 16 laws of communication.
Wow.
So it just recently came out. I actually have a copy of the book, and and we get to meet him twice a year in Florida through our International Maxwell Conference.
Wow, that's so cool. I've heard of him for a very long time, and I love his book, and I look up to him. He is a very, very powerful man, and his work is just remarkable. That's really cool.
Yes, he definitely is. And his goal is to teach us what leadership is truly about. It's not about numbers, it's more on the people, how you can serve your people and how can you love them unconditionally, which is very, very hard.
Yes,
right?
It is. Yeah. I'll definitely check out his book. Is it on Amazon yet?
Yep, it is on Amazon, and I would be more than happy to send you the link after this podcast.
Yes, please. Yes, please do so. Thank you. Tell me more of your experience of being in the healthcare system, in working with the healthcare.
That's a loaded question, but my experience in healthcare started from the ground up. I I started, I am more on the administrative side of things. And I started from payment posting to medical biller to authorizations, financial counseling to now managing the department itself. And what I have learned over time is in order to lead a department, you have to know your team. You have to know the struggles that they're facing and at the same time solve problems.
Mhm.
Healthcare is one big field wherein it's the only thing that is constant is change. It's ever changing change, right? We are thrown multiple health insurances every year. And then at the same time, these health insurances dictate how we can treat the patients. And on top of that, we have to make sure that we treat them properly and not have any adversity afterwards. So that's has been my experience in healthcare. I love what I do because I'm able to help our patients on the financial side instead of worrying of their the finances. We're there to support them in that aspect of it, so all that they have to focus is on getting better.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. How did the pandemic impact what you do?
How did the pandemic impact what I did? I love this question because I was just at a panelist Monday, and we talked about COVID-19 and how it helped the health insurance industry.
Mhm.
There was a lot of uncertainty at the very beginning. It's just like what everyone experienced, right? There's a lot of overwhelm and misinformation that happened. It had impacted us because we didn't know what to do.
Mm.
There's a lot of health insurance company that shut down during the pandemic. There's a lot of, unfortunately, staff shortage because a lot of people was affected by COVID-19, and with the regulations, we have to be off for 14 days initially, and then it kept going down. But it's more on the stress of having people to show up for work because it's either they are sick or not feeling well. And once somebody gets the symptoms, it's more on, okay, so what do we do? Do we need to get tested, or do we stay at work and keep working? At the same time, it's created a lot of concerns with patients. In our practice, we didn't work from home. We treat cancer patients, and obviously, since it's cancer, we have to continue showing up and treat patients based on their regimens. We have patients who need to come in 5 days a week, every 28 days. We have some come in every month or every week. So we have to be there and show up with them and make sure that they are also safe, because their disease is they are mostly immunocompromised. So if they get touched with a virus, it will have 10 times effect on them versus somebody who's healthy. So we have to take all that in consideration. So it created uncertainty and at the same time, somewhat chaos, but it's amazing how no matter what curveballs are thrown at us, people are resilient. People are adaptive. So we, at the same time, adapt to the change. Our physicians are very, very involved with the community and follows the CDC guidelines. So we did incorporate the changes. We followed all the things that will help our patients and employees feel safe and have that peace somewhat to run the practice at the same time.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. You mentioned you are you still in the healthcare system working or no?
Yes, I am.
You are, okay. And you also mentioned administration. Is
Yes.
that just one role you had, or you a nurse, or what are your other roles in that?
My role is at the moment is the billing manager. So I oversee the whole billing department, the financial department itself. And at the same time, outside of healthcare, I am thriving as a motivational teacher.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Um, yeah, thank you for what you do. Also, my adoptive mom, she passed from cancer, and
Mm.
when I first came to Canada, I really didn't know her too well enough. I mean, it was a year or so, and then she went into hospice, and then I didn't even know when she passed. But I have a heart for those who help cancer patients, and or anyone who is struggling or has struggled with any type of cancer. I find sometimes there can be stigma around cancer. What are your thoughts?
It's more on awareness. There's a lot of, right, there's a lot of cancer types out there. And sometimes when we hear the word cancer, it feels like it's the end,
Mhm.
but it's really not. There's a lot of studies now that helps cure or even lengthens the life of someone who has cancer. And I believe in order to prevent is being aware and having the monthly checkups or the yearly checkups. Sometimes we wait until the last minute when we have symptoms of some sort, or we don't keep up with our health. The
Mhm.
most important thing that we can do for ourselves is focus on our health, because we can be achieving so many things in our lives. Like we can be a leader, we can be a successful business owner, we can be anything in the world. But if we are not taking care of our health, we will not be able to fulfill any of those things that we wanted to achieve, that we are thriving for. So yes, cancer is one of them, but there's other diseases in the world that are also fatal.
Mhm.
The stigma of cancer being unfortunately the end, it is not the end. We have cancer survivors out there. We have patients who has been given 6 months to live and are still living today. And we have patients who has rare cancers and said, well, we don't know how to treat you, but with following the doctor's prescription, following with their routine and with their regimens, they are still living today. So it's more on perspective. I would say awareness, and take care of your health, do the proper checkups yearly, and be aware of your full physique and your history in order
Mhm.
to prevent um, future diseases or illnesses that may arise.
Yeah, yeah. And any diseases can be so hard for anyone to understand why it happened to them. And at times, I think there are also misdiagnoses from doctors. It's not that it's an intentional thing. It's
Yep.
not. No doctor wants that. Um, in your opinion, how can patients, any patients, can advocate for themselves to get the proper treatments that they need?
I love that question.
Yeah.
I advocate for my patients every day, all day, every day. But sometimes I do wish that they advocate for themselves too. And how to do that is, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes the fear of, feeling like you don't know what you're talking about, or the fear of where do I go? Who do I ask? What do I do next? Comes into play, which everyone doesn't really know what the next step is. When you are diagnosed with any diseases or any illnesses, we don't know what the next step is. It's always new to us. But do not be afraid to ask questions. The only way we will learn is ask question. May it be to say, well, who can give me the help I need? And there's and this is what I tell my patients every time. If you come across anything that is unusual, call
Mhm.
our office and ask for help. That's all you need to say.
Mhm.
Because at the same time, if you don't express that something is unclear or something that you don't understand, we won't know
Mhm.
unless you ask for help.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So how do you empower young leaders to follow their passion and thrive?
How do I empower? It's more on, this is something that I love with my journey. I became a leader, but I didn't know how to lead properly. I became a
Mhm.
leader, but I didn't know what is the right technique in order to lead. Now, with the personal development journey and with the help of the Maxwell Leadership Program, I have learned that we have two goals: professional goals and growth goals. So, but a lot of us doesn't know about the growth goals that needs to happen on the back end. It's more on professional. We wanted to, I don't know, I need to work hard in order to get the next position available to me, or I need to work hard in order to get a raise, right? I need to work hard to be happy. Whatever the reasoning is, we have that professional goal, but we don't have a personal a growth goal. So how do I empower future leaders? Is have that growth goal. Because in order for us to become effective at anything that we do, may that be a leader, may that be a business owner, whatever the case is, you have to grow yourself strong enough to have that confidence, to have that conviction, and to have that determination in order for your team to buy into the vision that you wanted to have. May that be the success of the company that you're working for. May it be that the success of your own company that you are going to build. You have to have that confidence, which is why my radio show is focusing on everything that happens on closed doors. It's more about leadership, but sometimes we have put this leadership on, not on a pedestal, but somebody that you admire, right? And then you would think, oh, how do they do that? How do they juggle life, and balance being an effective leader, having a family, and have a personal life? But not a lot of people put or shed light on everything that happens closed doors, the doubts, the fears, the imposter syndrome, and the limiting beliefs. Those are the things that we have to overcome in order to become that confident leader that we aim for.
Oh, I love that. I'm learning as you speak, because I don't have any experience. I always tell people I have a story, a heart, and passion to help. I don't know, I don't have any type of experience. So I'd love to learn more from you and your team and what you do.
Oh yeah, I would definitely love to share the value and the knowledge. Personal growth is not something that is available to everyone, but it's a must, which is why I have made it my life mission to create a safe space where everyone can grow and become vulnerable at the same time. So this is your podcast, and you being vulnerable is a big deal to me, and you're being raw and authentic. And that is what it is all about. It's not about, well, I am here, I am doing this, but it's more on sharing your journey, sharing those vulnerable moments with your listeners in order for them to connect with you and relate with what you're currently doing. It's not about sharing the successes. Dr. John C. Maxwell said, if you want to build fans, share your successes. But if you want to make friends, share your failures.
Ooh, I love that. That describes everything I've done.
Yes.
Yeah, because people ask me if I'm getting paid to do this. I said no.
Yeah.
Just all types of questions. And my answer is no, because what I'm doing comes from the heart, not from the outside, and not to please people. So I love that. How would you normally describe yourself? Are you an introvert, extrovert, outgoing, not
I
going?
am I am a confident introvert. I would say I am a confident introvert. And to be honest, at the beginning of my journey, I love that you asked this question. I was a shy introvert who, oh my gosh, I used to stutter when I have to speak in front of the audience. And it doesn't matter if it's my classmates or my colleagues at work, I stutter. Like I have forgotten how to use the language itself. That was
Me
me.
too. Oh my goodness.
But girl, you are hosting a podcast.
I
That
know.
shows
I can't
courage.
believe it.
I
It's crazy.
share the same this belief, because to be honest with you, when we launched our radio show, it
Mhm,
didn't sink in. And I think till today it has not sunk in that, oh
mhm.
my God, I am a radio show host.
Yeah,
Right? And it's
yeah,
the same thing. But
yeah,
the beautiful thing about it is you keep showing up and you keep doing the work. And that's all
yes,
that matters.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, geez, I used to stutter so bad. I used to camouflage myself. If I could be a gecko, just camouflage, like in classrooms, I'm
Yes.
sitting in the back row. If the teacher calls me, next time I sit even further away. And yeah, I used to be in choir. I would sit and stand in the back to sing. Yeah, I just observe from far away, and that's okay too. I'm also an introvert. I sort of dab between introvert, extrovert, and kind of find a balance, I suppose.
Mm,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I have learned? I embrace being an introvert, but at the same time, once you have that confidence of doing something that you love to do, introverts come out. Like that confidence will just show. You would be surprised that there's a lot of actors and artists out there that are introverts yet thriving in the world of social media and thriving
Mhm.
in this in the world in the TV or Hollywood industry.
Yeah.
And it's because it's something that they're very passionate about and that they're very willing to do for free, even, right? Just like what
Mm,
we're doing right now. We're doing this, we're not getting paid, but it's more on what is our passion? Where are you putting that energy towards? So I've always believed that if you do something that you love, you'll never
mm,
work
mm,
for the rest of your life. And money always follows. Money
mhm,
always follows. So in order to have that confidence, there's got to be courage
mhm,
that ha- that has to happen, right? And in my journey, like I said, I was a shy introvert. How did maybe some listeners are asking, so how did you get the confidence? It starts with courage. Mel Robbins defined
oh, I
confidence.
love her.
Yes, she is the reason why I am the
I
person that I
love
am
her.
today. I started my whole journey with her definition of confidence.
Mhm,
So she has this study. It's called competence confidence loop. It's having the courage to put thought into action and continuously do it
mm,
so that you become competent at first and then
mhm,
do it even more, that it
mhm,
becomes a second nature and you will have that confidence within yourself.
mm. Yeah,
Now the
yeah.
question is, how do you get that courage, Ernie? How do you get that courage?
Mm,
Well, with me, courage is equals to belief or faith, right?
mm,
There's three types of belief or faith in my own definition, and this is something that I have learned in my journey. There's belief or faith within yourself, which is very, very hard, right? It's
mhm,
something that's why we have growth goals. There's
yeah,
faith that you receive from others or
mhm,
belief that you receive from others. And that and at the same time, faith from a higher power. And that's
mhm,
your religion or your belief. I
yeah,
started my confidence journey with faith or belief from other people,
mhm,
because there are people around you who wants to see you succeed, who is there to support you, and who will always be there to support you whichever level in your life you are.
mhm,
So that's where I leverage my courage. I have a mentor in healthcare industry, and she asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, I wanted to become a billing manager. I don't know what billing manager is. I just wanted to
yeah,
become a billing manager. And
yeah,
she has invested time to train me and teach me the knowledge that I have today. And I am still very grateful. She became a very close friend of mine.
mhm,
And the question that I had at that time is because I had doubt. I doubted myself. I have this imposter syndrome. Who do you think you are? You don't even speak the language. I am a Filipina. I'm from the Philippines. English is not my first language. So the questions of who do you think you are? Why would they listen to you? What do you have to say? Do you have what it takes? Those thoughts come into mind. And I love talking about those because I've been there.
mhm,
But one question that I asked myself, which made a difference, if she believed in me, why don't I believe in myself?
mm,
What
yeah,
does she see in me that I don't see?
mhm, mhm.
So
That's a
sometimes we need to stop and do that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so many of us, we do sabotage our dreams and goals. We don't even
Mhm.
need to do it most of the time. And also, I find that we have to have thick skin to weather all the criticism and judgments. Um, that's something I've had to learn. Following my journey, there were people that left, people that criticized how I said things, or judged or take it the wrong way. It's just to keep pushing through, regardless of what we're fighting against. Could be families or friends, communities, could be anything. And like you, English is not my first language, right? I'm
Mm.
from a different country, different culture, different language. I had all those thoughts. Who's going to listen? Why should they listen? Other
Yep.
people have better things to say. And it's doing that inner work to fight and overcome those battles. Mhm.
Yes, I totally agree. It's more on that. And the thing is too, sometimes we have to reflect and um there's so many teachings that I wanted to share and we don't have a lot of time. But
Yeah, yeah, go
when
ahead.
when we sabotage ourselves, it's more
Mhm.
on how does that benefit us? Are we settling?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
It's a question of, are we settling or are we thriving?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't quite remember the whole quote, but a cemetery is a place where unsung dreams are found. If
Mhm.
that makes any sense, it's the place wherein a lot of regrets happen,
Mm,
because there's a lot of people in there who have regrets. I have heard another story about a hospice nurse, um, and she interviewed her patients, hospice patients, and she said, well, what was your greatest lesson in life? And they said, well, I wish I would have worked towards what I really want to do in life.
mm,
Like, we regret, right? That's one thing I don't want to do at the end of my life. I wanted to be able to live my life to the fullest, and whatever it is that I am meant to do, I wanted to be able to live that life
mm.
um without any uh, regrets, more so, or any influence from other people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. I'm in the same boat. Um, because I don't want the same to happen either. Because when we look back, we should have things that we're proud of. Um, I find that sometimes most people focus on materialistic stuff versus the spiritual soul work, soul food, I call it, right? It's just
Mm,
fighting for our dreams and finding what works. Yeah.
yes,
I know you gotta
totally
go.
true.
Let me know how much time you have and if you have anything else you'd like to add.
We have 5 minutes. How long does your podcast normally run?
Oh, it could be 20 to an hour, 20 minutes to an hour. It all depends
Okay.
on the guest and conversation.
Okay. Well, I would love to come back and teach more, definitely.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have 5 minutes, and
Mhm.
feel free to ask me another question and we can answer it in the next 5 minutes.
Yes, for the 5 minutes, I'm gonna let you share anything that you'd like to share that we haven't touched on or that we
Oh,
haven't touched. Yeah.
it would be my great pleasure. I just wanted to say that in whatever it is that you wherever it is that you want that you are in your life, please know that you are where you are meant to be today. The first step is self-awareness, knowing where you are and
Mhm.
assessing that if you're happy or not. If you're happy, please, by all means, live your life to the fullest. If you're not happy, make a change. It's not going to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything in order to start. The goal is, this is what Bernadette and I does. Just show up, say
Yeah.
yes, and announce it to the world and figure the rest out
Mhm.
later.
Mhm.
That's basically how life works. We don't
Mhm.
have a manual on anything that we do. If there is a manual, it would be very boring.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's more on life will throw curveballs at you. Life will give you challenges, but those challenges is something that you can use to have a lesson and at the same time to make you stronger.
Yeah.
What matters is how would you show up after an adversity, after a challenge is put on your table. And the answer is don't ever give up.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much.
My
And I
pleasure.
love life. Life is my best friend and my worst enemy, and I'm making the best of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I have this quote that I say, life is beautiful as long as you have the courage to live it.
Ooh, that's a punch. That's really good. Give someone a concussion and wake them up. That's so cool. I
Right?
love that. Thank you so much, Ernie. Yeah, we're going to schedule something to have you on again to continue sharing. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Bernadette, and I wish you luck and God bless.
Thank you so much.